All right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to City of Glens Planning Board and Architectural Review Board meeting for July 1st, 2026. Nice to see all smiling faces here, attendance. First order of business this evening is the approval, comments and approval of the meeting minutes from the June 3rd, 2026 meeting. Mr. Morris, do you have any comments or? Seth?
No comment.
Mr. Landry?
No comments.
No comment. Mr. President, no comments. So therefore, I make a motion that we approve the minutes as they are from the June 3rd, 2026 meeting. Can I get a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'd like to make an announcement before we start with old business, new business, and really get into things. It seems, I believe there's a lot of interest here this evening in our last item on the agenda tonight. And that is the Lawrence Street subdivision. There's no development or anything, it's just an adjustment of lot lines and subdivision that is, has been applied for. We will not be making a decision on that this evening. We are just here tonight, and we discussed it from here in the board, to make a recommendation to the zoning. We will hear public comments because it was put out that way to the public. I really like seeing people in attendance at our meetings because we are just volunteers that represent the people of the city. And I really like it when people are active in this, and how business is done. But again, we are not making a vote. That is up to the zoning board on whether that gets approved or not. We just are here to discuss it amongst us and to make a recommendation. I just want to say that up front. Okay? So everyone that's here for that knows. All right, the first business we have has been tabled this evening, site plan review SB 26-015. Kelly Feldman, owner of 146 Maple Street, tax map number 303.17-1-11-27, seeks site plan approval for the conversion of a 2-unit structure to a 4-unit structure with the addition of a rear deck and staircase to provide access to the upper floors. Can I get a motion to table that, please?
I'll make a motion to table. It's my understanding the applicant has submitted the additional items that we requested last month, so I make a motion to table, seeking submission from the applicant.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, second item, actual architectural review, AR 26-004, Carroll's LLC, lessee of 1 Warren Street, tax map number 310.5-2-6, seeks architectural review approval for proposed renovations to the site. And you are?
Paul Morris from Skyboard Technologies for Carroll's RBI, Burger King.
Okay.
So I was here last month, took your comments and questions back to our design team and Burger King Corporate's design team. And I think we were able to make the changes that you had requested. So I believe you all have copies of the plans.
I really, doing it for us, we've been here, I think, 3 times with this, and I applaud the efforts from Burger King and from your company to work with us on this. Again, it's in the center of our city, and it really means a lot to the city.
Thank you. So what we were able to do was took the new cornice along the front, and along the main entrance, and along the back side of the main entrance, we were able to put lighting up on top so there was a breaking color.
Yeah.
And we were able to wrap that around the backside of the building. And then the drive-through comes around the side, and then the drive-through that's not really visible from anywhere because the building's in the way. We looked at it as well.
Great. Mr. Morpheus? Oh, Nita?
Yeah, I mean, I think you picked up a lot of the changes that people liked from the last time, and it's appreciated that you were able to take the would look into planning and wrap it most of the way around the building. I'm not bothered by the fact that it doesn't go all the way around, and you don't see that drive the elevation a whole lot anyway. And I think that the way you've taken the long facade and taken the parapet and bumped it up and down, that flat cornice accentuating it breaks up the long bar building and gives it a little bit of visual interest. And I think that flat cornice is sharp, and sort of, a little bit more elegant looking than what's there now. I'm not bothered by the fact you don't have those oversized cornices. They're not oversized, with the larger cornices in the back. Again, that's where you don't really see anything. So I think it's a nice improvement overall. I had one question in the originally presented slide, which showed a Burger King sign next to the drive-through on the wall. That was last month.
Yeah, it's not there yet.
Okay, so
So you have no signage on that side.
probably wouldn't be seen by anyone anywhere. Yeah. If you're in the drive-thru already, you know where.
People with those windows probably know it's Burger King.
Yeah. And then my only other question was, and I believe we maybe talked about this briefly, but I don't know if it was in the records, so maybe you guys can remind me. There's a future, fun freezer that's shown on the site plan. And I'm curious how that would be clad, and we can, I'm not sure if we can at this time ask that it sort of
Well, you have to come back.
is.
Yeah, I think with this experience, the team knows what you're looking for.
Yeah.
And we're coming with something other than that, like, right?
So you got the site plan approval for that, but you're gonna come back on one. Okay. Yeah. I have no other comments. I think it looks a lot better.
Thank you.
It looks good.
Yeah, it's quickly confusion last, at our last meeting, and we cleared it up. And so that you cleared up confusion, and you certainly improved the facility.
Good.
Yeah.
Sure.
No comment. I like the drawings today.
Thank you.
Mr. Landry?
I think it's a big improvement. I echo the sentiment that we appreciate the fact you got the workforce, with us to come up with something that is a little more amenable to the surrounding areas. The changes in the roof lines, things like this have made a big, I think aesthetically it blends in a lot with the downtown area. And cladding the back's a good addition. Like I say, other than that, I think it looks great. Big improvement.
Sure.
I agree. I really have no comment. I think the change in the type of materials used on that side and continuing that, I think really made a big difference. It actually makes it look like something a little more than it was with last year. So I have no issues.
Nothing to add over what's already been said.
So for me, and I'm sure a lot of people, our citizens won't realize what the changes we made. It looks a lot better. It's still a Burger King, but it has some really cool architectural features, the roof lines. I mean, we did make you guys spend a bunch of extra money, but did it really well, I think. I think the finished product is, it looks a lot better. I like how the siding wraps around what we'll call the back, but it actually, like I said, in that spot, there is no back. You face the arena and the other buildings, so I think overall, we did something pretty good. So,
I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural Review, hereby grant architectural
Well,
approval.
excuse me one second. Is there anyone from the public that would like to comment on this before we make a motion here? Okay.
And seeker was type 2, no further action. Okay, I'll start again. I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural Review, hereby grant architectural approval for the project identified as Carroll's LLC, lessee of 1 Warren Street, tax map number 310.5-2-6, for the proposed renovations at the site based upon the final drawing submitted on today's meeting, July 1, 2026, with no additional comments.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, appreciate it.
Next order of business, encroachment permit. Susan Bolster, owner of 27 Prospect Street, tax map number 303.17-15-14, seeks approval for a 14-foot encroachment curb cut to install a second driveway pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-13K and 1. This requires an advisory opinion by the planning board to the common council.
And Ms. Bolster has given permission for her mother, Kathy, to help her as a representative tonight.
Can you tell us about your project, or you want to add another driveway to the property?
Yeah, I'm Sarah's mother, and, all right, everybody, I'm 72 years old, and when Sarah bought this house, there was a third bedroom downstairs and a bathroom. Oh, you know, so I said, geez, that would be great, we can move in there when we get old. And so that idea, that's where the driveway request came from, because if my husband or I, one of us may pass away before the other and may not want to stay in our home. So therefore, we would take the bedroom and the bathroom downstairs and use, Sarah would probably make our meals at that point, but the fact would be if we went out at night, that walking from her driveway all the way down the sidewalk and then across the yard to go in the back door would not be very safe. And so that's why the driveway, and she we wanted to get that part done.
Yeah.
How many cars fit in the driveway right now?
One.
One?
It's a one-car driveway that goes to her garage. It's an attached garage to her house.
It's a single lane, but it's wide enough for her.
And she had this lot, let's see, the house was like this, and her driveway is here. And down on the right, there's a entrance door to the basement that walks right out onto the lawn. And so that would be the driveway right there.
And I have no architectural comments other than the fact that I just say that I think we want to, or make a recommendation suggesting that it should be far enough away from the bike paths to pull out and back up. It looks like you've marked, the applicant's marked 18 feet.
And
This
that-
Google Maps is 20 feet from the edge of the proposed driveway to the bike path, or riding across on the driveway to say, no, be sure that that's not an issue. So backs out, and my only thought would be that it would be nice to have some sort of plantings or a fence or something blocking that driveway from the bike path. Have a car right next to the bike path. Those are just thoughts and recommendations. Knowing that this is going to work out.
Mr. Morris?
Familiar.
Mr. Houston, like,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with the property, and what you're saying makes sense. It's too bad you gotta carve up that lawn or a driveway.
Well, that's one, yeah.
But practically, there's no neighbors on that side other than the bike trail and industrial building on the other side of the bike trail. So I don't have any problem with it.
this is not a two-family house, correct?
No. No, and I don't want a kitchen there.
Sure.
Was this referred to the county within 500 feet of the bike path?
It was not, I did not think it was an action that needed to be, but I can do that.
Or does it have to be referred before common council? Is that the thinking?
Yeah, I can do that, I'll do that to be safe.
Well, my opinion, I'm not a fan of it. I'm not a fan of cutting up a lawn for another driveway. when there's already a functioning driveway with a garage. So that's just my opinion.
Mr. Landry?
Is there a tree that's gonna have to take down? Just for,
Of the cities, no. But she had to take a tree down that was dead. And that is in front of, driveway would end before where that tree was taken, where it was. I don't know if you can see the stump is still there because the guy said he was gonna take the stump out, and never came back. So,
I guess other than the fact that there are certain requirements now for trucks as far as stormwater running to the street. So you're gonna have to look into that, make sure that it's designed that the driveway, if you do put a driveway in, that it has to drain into the property, not out to the street. So that is, I guess, all the questions.
Mr. Sherman?
Yeah, I kind of agree. I had some reservations, just a single family home, adding a second driveway. So we don't have reservations for that. And one of the big concerns I have is, we always ask for, recommendations from our city departments. And we've got a pretty strong recommendation from, both the superintendent and the city engineer regarding driveways. And the thing is that, ultimately, the recommendation is if you don't have to do it, don't. And if you do have to do it, then let's make sure that you're maintaining that stormwater on site. I believe that it would be difficult, to be a huge expense. We talked about forest driveways and the upkeep and the maintenance to those, or having some kind of storm well put on the property. But those things would have to be a must as far as I'm concerned, especially since we're requesting letters from our city departments and they're coming back with strong recommendations. I don't see how we can ignore those.
For second drivers that not, the city departments really aren't a fan.
Yeah, if you read his letter, it's pretty much, but if they have to do it, they want the stormwater maintained.
Discuss.
Agreed. Essentially, I think if you're increasing the impervious surface, replacing grass with asphalt, you want to make sure stormwater is managed. We're not creating a drainage issue downstream.
Visiting the site, it's a nice home, nice lawn. I'm not a fan, I don't know if that's appropriate for me to say, of cutting another curb cut there and put in a driveway because it already has the function of one. I can understand your position on why you want it or like it. It's just a really nice site and another driveway there doesn't add to it. But it's not just my opinion. So,
However you guys want to word it.
excuse me, would someone from the public like to comment on this item? No.
It's disfavor.
Yeah.
So I'll make a motion. If no one seconds or it doesn't pass, it is what it is. But I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board hereby submits the following advisory opinion to the Common Council, that the Common Council should look with disfavor on the application of Sarah Bolster, owner of 27 Prospect Street, tax map 303.17-1514, for a 14-foot encroachment curb cut to install a second driveway, based upon the discussion that we've had tonight, July 1, 2026.
Second that. Roll call, Mr. Landry?
Yes.
You disfavor.
Disfavor, yeah.
Disfavor. Mr. Sherman?
Yeah, disfavor, favor one.
In favor of the motion.
Disfavor.
Yes.
In favor of the motion?
No.
Okay. Huh? Like, disfavor.
He said no. He said yes to the motion.
Yeah.
So motion passes with disfavor.
Disfavor,
Yes.
Okay.
thank you.
Next item on the agenda this evening, encroachment permit. Roger Levac, owner of 54 Mason Street, tax map number 302.12-16-33, seeks approval for a 16-foot encroachment curb cut to install an additional driveway on Baldwin Avenue pursuant to the City of Glens Falls zoning code, chapter 220-13K and 1. This requires an advisory opinion by the planning boards of common council.
Right. We don't have a driveway. And, the garage is about 4 to 6 feet from the road. So you can't fit a car, in that position. So we'd like to add parking space so that we can legally park on our lot.
So like today where the cars and the trailer where that, the drawing says that whole corner would be blacktop?
Correct.
Well, let's start with, would anyone from the public like to comment on this? Mr. Landry?
I don't know if it makes any difference. The previous application was for 14-foot cut. This is for 16. Is there a standard city curb cut that is made? This was two. Again, I don't know if it makes any difference.
Well, this is the way that it's set up there for them is wider because it's from the garage over to that corner. So, I mean, you wouldn't leave like a 2-foot space there. It's just,
Part of the curb is below grade, so you can take out at least a few feet.
Oh, okay. All right, I have no other questions.
No, I drove by it. I understand their issue right now. Actually, they're parking illegally. They're parking out of your lawn. So, if they have an inherent issue, they're trying to correct. Again, I would just go back to trying to follow the recommendation of our city engineer, superintendent.
I believe there was also written comments about a utility pole on the corner, and whether that was going to impact safety and visibility for any vehicles that would be backing in and out of driveways. So taking that into consideration.
I don't think the driveway's gonna go that far, or it's gonna be, I take that back. I think the driveway will go past the post, but not by much.
Past the utility pole? Can't go past the utility pole.
what do you mean it's from the garage all the way to the other street, right?
No, because we have the little fence,
Yeah.
so it wouldn't go past the fence.
So you would have like a 4 or 5 foot strip of grass there between.
Yeah. Well, between the Santas and our fence.
Yeah.
This utility pole right here in the picture, right?
Right, yes. So that's close to where the pavement ends.
Yes, the garage is, what, like 5 feet from the curb?
Correct.
So this is a functioning two-car garage,
Yes,
and each house is required to have 2 parking spaces. So that's 2 parking spaces per code. And I guess my question is, in your drawing, you say 20 feet. Are you saying 20 feet from the edge of the garage over to the corner there?
yes.
So that would be all paved. So that's for 2 cars to sit there.
Up to, yes.
Didn't there used to be a driveway right behind that house going the other way?
No, the fence used to go up to the street. Baldwin, or closer to Baldwin.
So the 20, I just want to understand, the 20 feet would be from the edge of the garage heading in the direction of the corner.
Yeah.
And then you're saying it would be 30 feet deep.
Correct.
And standard parking space is 20 feet by 9. So my assumption is you're looking for 2 cars and then stop.
Well, it's just, we have that fence behind there, so we thought leave it to the fence.
Well, the more pay, the more we start to run into the concerns of permeability. So, you know, I mean, that's one thing to think about.
Well, we can make it shorter.
Um, And the entrance would be off the ball, right?
Correct.
So
I guess my question, I don't know the answer to this, is typically there are restrictions about how close a driveway can be to an intersection, but I did not find that in the photos. I looked for it, I couldn't find it. So I just want to make sure that we're taking that into account. And my other question would be, in a very general way, if you have a two-car garage with the ability to have two vehicles at your house, which is what Glens also calls for, why the need for an additional two parking spaces? It's a single family.
Correct.
So those are my,
Mr. Marcus?
So your home is on Mason Street
Yes,
and this garage faces
yes.
Baldwin. Now, the two car, how do you get in and out of it? You just drive over the curb now?
Well, most of it doesn't have much of a curb, so it's
Oh, the
0 to 1 inch mostly. So part of it is, it's purpose.
okay. So you're using it as a driveway right now, aren't you? Yeah.
Well, we have to,
Yeah, yeah. No, it's- yeah. Like I said, I guess if you proceeded and followed all the codes and the regulations that the city engineer and the water department, I'm okay with that.
I was trying to do this before I got fined.
Well, I'm confused because I didn't get a chance to go to the site, but I'm looking at what you've submitted in your drawing. There's a driveway in front of the
Here.
two-car garage?
There,
Oh, there's a driveway. It just comes right out onto the street.
Yeah, just the garage just comes right up the street.
so even if you park your car sideways in front of the garage, it's still in fine.
Right, but you can open the doors and pull in and out of your garage, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And the other, so if you're adding another 60 square feet of pavement, I don't know what the lot coverage is, or if we're getting anywhere close to having a lot coverage issue.
Yes, we will have a lot of this issue when the driveway, driveway.
Oh, well, then that brings up a whole nother issue. So I guess based on what's been submitted here, without knowing the lot coverage and if there is issues and the fact that you already have a two-car garage, again, my position is we should not be tearing up a green space for 60 feet of pavement when you then may go over our code with respect to lot coverage. So we're creating a problem, we're violating our own code, and we should not be doing that. But from the drawings and what's been submitted, without Allison here telling me that, I can't tell. So I can't give a favorable advisory opinion.
Just to put it, 600 square feet, not 60.
Oh, sorry, yeah, I'm mad. It's 5 o'clock. Yeah, okay, that makes it worse. So that's my comment.
Can I say something? If I made it just 9 feet, would that change?
Well, I think before we make a recommendation here, vote on this, maybe you do the square footage and see your lot coverage and come back to us. We can take this.
I don't know what you mean by that.
So you can only have so much lot coverage on your square footage of your space. Take the total number of square feet in your lot, and you're only allowed to have so much of it covered by building and driveway.
But we have a double lot.
Well, these are the numbers right here. We can make an opinion right now, but as it sounds, it's not gonna be in your favor. If you could change your record, what you want here and go down and down, and make sure that you have the right lot coverage. it might get a favorable.
You're not sure how to do those calculations, I'm sure somebody in the planning office can walk me through what that is.
Okay. I quit.
Karen, can you make, what's that? Yeah, I'll comment. You know, make
Well,
motion.
then I'll make a motion to table it to allow the applicant to bring in better drawings which show the lot coverage and better, dimensions of exactly what he wants. So I would make a motion to table then for the applicant to submit additional information as requested.
Second, all
Aye.
in favor?
Aye.
Next item on the agenda, signboard SD 26-007, Eric Unkoff, 18 Curran Lane, tax map number 303.17-13-8, seeks approval for a mural on a shipping container. How are you, sir?
Very good. Yes, so, let's see, the last container on the eastern side of Curran Lane, across from the Rock Hill Bakehouse entrance. And it's actually going to be on the face and on the end of the container as shown in the kind of the mock-up. So Glens Falls Produce is in the background of that picture. The couple of peak roofs, that's the backside of Glens Falls Produce.
This is our,
Yeah, that one.
Mr. Landry?
I think it's great. He's done nothing but improve the area and make it all make it better. I have no problems.
Mr. Sherman?
Just a question, I mean, is this just representative or is
Is this what's going to be there?
Well, this is
a copyright issue? I mean,
It's not a copyright issue. Popeye was 1923. If they had the spinach can, that would be a copyright issue because that's later. But this is all okay as far as this is public domain.
public domain?
Yep.
I have no questions.
Yeah.
Or concerns.
Nina, do you have comments on this?
I have no concerns at all.
So would anyone from the public like to comment on this? Look, you have to come up. And what's your name? Yes.
Linda Plant, Catherine Street. Oh, I just wanted to see what was going up, that's all. Here it is right in front of us. Yeah. Looks cool. Thank you.
I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Sign Review, hereby grant sign approval for the project known as Eric Unkoff, 18 Curran Lane, tax map number 303.17-13-8, for the mural on the shipping container as presented at the meeting of July 1, 2026.
All in favor?
I,
All right, thank you. And I think I'm the next one on the list too. So,
Okay. Architecture review, AR 25-014- amended, Leonard and Cooper and Lawrence, owners of 188 Maple Street, tax map numbers 303.17-13-17, seek amended architectural review approval for the construction of a performance stage. Original approval December 2025.
yeah, so the original approval, because if you remember, there were like 5 pieces of that
The old farm
whole
market.
package there, and I didn't realize, I should have looked through the drawings, I didn't realize that it was run as an open structure. It was always intended to be a closed structure, but we're like in the whole process here with zoning board of appeals and then here, and I was just like, okay, well, when we get closer to actually wanting to start construction, I'll go back through and
get approvals for a closed structure. So basically, there's, would be 2 shipping containers, one on either side, that are gonna be the sides of the structure. Other than that, it's still gonna look like, we're gonna be using the same green tin that the farmer's market pavilion was for the roof. And recycling some of those trusses as well. And the only difference is it's gonna have a wall in the back facing the existing block building at 188 Maple, so you won't see that from anywhere. The front of it will be, that's facing the pavilion that was put up. Is basically gonna be like a 18-foot wide by 10-foot tall, steel coil door.
Do we have no drawings in here?
I submitted drawings.
What's the door? Is it the
It's just
roll-up?
gonna, yeah, it's just a roll-up door. It rolls up into a coil.
Is it solid or is it porous? Like, is it?
No, it's gonna be a solid, it'll be a solid door. Because, eventually there'll be, house light and house PA and all that stuff in there. And, it's wants to be kept out of the weather between uses.
So I have the front elevation, I don't see the rear elevation. Am I missing one?
What's that?
I have the front elevation, but I don't have the rear elevation.
So yeah, you have front side.
Is the back just gonna be filled in, or is that gonna have a roll-up coil door?
No. It's, if you look at the main floor plan, the upper left corner, you'll see there's a wall with an exit door.
Oh, with the door, okay, there. Thank you. And what's that gonna be made of?
It's just probably dimensional lumber and tin, yeah.
To match the other.
Yep.
Wait, what are you cladding it with?
It's gonna be, so the sides are going to be shipping containers. The rear, which is basically like from me to that wall away from an existing block building, just be probably 10 over studs. Just like the storage building that we're doing in the back of Glens Produce that was already approved.
You're gonna end up putting murals on these?
Probably on the sides, there's not really enough room on the back to do anything. Because it's kind of like, it's gonna be like almost like an alley back there.
And then in the gable roof on the front, where you've got the toilet door, is that gonna be siding?
Yeah, he's got it drawn
I'm
as,
just curious.
he's got it drawn as some sort of siding.
What are you gonna do?
Well, it's not gonna be vinyl. It'll be something better than vinyl, the wood or cement.
Did we approve colors last time? I can't remember. Did we approve colors last time? Like, I don't see any colors.
Really,
Green.
colors.
Yeah, forest green.
That's all it was.
All these, is the roll-up door, is that gonna be green too, or is that gonna be silver? Is that gonna be gray?
Probably eventually it'll have a mural on it. I don't know what, I can probably order it whatever color I want. It's not gonna be, orange or purple or anything. It'll probably be.
Well, that's fine. We're going.
What's that?
There's no colors here, and I can see like the way the rest of this project is going.
Yeah.
We end up with murals on.
I just wanna know what
Yeah.
color's gonna be in the point and the back wall. Is it all gonna be like that
We
green?
can, if you want to do it, say green, we'll do it green. It's not, it's gonna be that way for, however long it takes me to put something else on top of it, but yeah, if you want to start with that.
I think, it's a good looking structure and everything, but yeah, again, the colors and everything over there is like that brick
Yeah.
and murals.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's less on color too.
What's that?
It's less on a color issue. It's just the architectural detailing is really plain.
Yeah.
For a performance space, it's not like at all like dramatic. Like,
Mhm.
some like simple architectural changes to like make it pop a little more. I mean, other than just sort of clapboard siding, it's like, you know, it's like the most, if this is a performance stage, you kind of want to bring some pop to it.
Is this for musicians to come on like Thursday nights or?
It's for that, and it's, for, I've been talking to a couple of, independent filmmakers too about doing like a independent, film night with, food, like question and answer session. So,
Yeah, I think using the containers on either side to sort of lock it in and then have that double storage and maybe go around to a creative idea, considering the fact that we already got those rolling things.
right. So, I mean, one container would be retrofitted into storage, one would be retrofitted into like a green.
Can you elaborate on that? I mean, green room to me suggests like the performer's restroom, like electricity.
Yeah, it's, like, you just fit it out as an air conditioned space, you know, that the, you know, performers can use as like either a changing room or something to just hang out in between, you know, when they take a break.
So there will be power and.
Yeah, oh, yeah, well, yeah, so, right, the stage obviously is gonna have power too.
Mr. Landy, good, how about us?
Okay.
The only thing I had is, are the setbacks correct? Because I see you increased it from the original.
So the setback off the rear lot line, which is what we got CBA approval for, was the 13-foot one. So we're going to maintain that. It's going to push that building a little closer because the rear lot line is at an angle. As we, you know, we're allowed on that lot 36 foot. We've got to be off the side yards on both side yards. This building is going to come up to those points. The original design was not, because because that, you know, originally the building was here and now we're here. It's going to make us come back a little further. But it's 60, but we're going to maintain all the setbacks.
Okay.
Right.
So even though the building can be made bigger, setbacks should be maintained.
Yeah, right. And the main one is that, you know, the one we got from CBA, the 13-foot one.
That's the only question I had.
Question.
So the main structure on this lot is this single story CMU building. So is this an accessory structure to that? Like would power for this future power for this building come off of that, or is it gonna be?
I would imagine we'll be taking, yeah, so there's a cinder block building in front of this, that, you know, you can actually see from the street.
So this is an accessory structure.
We would take power off of that building.
And then it looks like the stage area between the shipping containers is on a slab. The
Yes, on
containers are
slab.
not on-
What's that?
The containers are not on slab?
It's whatever Ethan tells me to do as far as that goes. I don't know whether, I've seen it where, you know, the sink a sonotube in the four corners and put a plate on the, you know, sink a plate like in with rebar into the sonotube and then, you know, weld it to the plate or
Yeah,
whatever.
right now it looks like it's just a slab between them. I just want there to be differential settling.
For your records, Ethan Hall, Principal of Brzezinski Hall Architecture. So yeah, what we had talked about was there's gonna have to be a structural crushed stone base underneath the slab anyway. So we'll make that same crushed stone base that the containers can sit on. And those are pretty much, once that's leveled out and compacted, it's not gonna go anywhere. They're not gonna move around. The wind certainly isn't gonna blow them away.
And is there any issue with sound attenuation? Like is, you know, there's the performance stage, any issue with.
Other than the city's noise ordinance. You can have the bands for a certain amount of time.
I mean, it's, you know, theoretically, most of it's gonna be directed back into my property, you know, so it's not like we're pushing it out towards Maple Street, we're pushing it in towards Rock Hill and the shirt factory.
Okay.
And, you know, the pavilion is fairly close to this, so it's not like
it's not like we need, mega volume to get where we need to get with it.
Thanks.
Sure.
I guess so.
I got it.
Maybe.
I got it.
Eric, I'm a little bit confused. One is, you're gonna put speakers inside the two metal containers? Is that gonna?
So they're not gonna be inside the containers, they're gonna be inside the space between the containers, and we're going to, there's gonna be some sort of insulation on that surface that's adjacent to the stage, so that we just don't have a, echo chamber in there.
Yeah, that's my concern is just that, I would want to turn it up a loud amp inside there. The other thing is that I think it's a great idea, but you've been kind of unclear on the colors or the power. I think the details are a little bit vague here. I personally am in favor of the project, but I would like to see some more details on what it's going to look like.
Well, I guess really the details are maybe just color, and, I don't get to choose unfortunately, I don't get to choose what color the containers come as. They come as whatever color they happen to pick that day. So, I mean, typically what we've been doing is just.
Well, they could be painted.
Oh, yeah, no, that's what we've been doing with them, is we paint them, so they come in as whatever, and then go through and we paint them. I mean, whatever, if we want to paint them forest green, we'll paint the whole thing forest green. Want to paint those red.
I'd like to see cut sheets and materials and
Our
colors, and if there's gonna be lighting up in the peaks or anything. I think it's missing. Again, I'm not opposed to the project. I just think if we're amending and we're doing architectural review, we're supposed to know what that.
Mr. Chairman, Aaron, I don't believe he's here this evening. What about, this is a metal, these boxes with I just see one door here for exit and enter on the same,
Well, if it's using the stage, I don't think that's gonna be.
No, for the container, they're using it for a green room, and people are going in there, there's 20.
There's an exit door in the rear, and there's an exit door in the rear to the outside, and then in the rear.
Yeah, but these are open from the outside, right?
Right, if you look at the top left,
Oh, okay, all right, yep,
see that?
okay.
Yeah. And that's something to take up with Ethan. I don't, you know what I'm saying? If they say there needs to be another door, put another door in, I don't care.
Okay, yeah, it's good to keep forms of egress.
The only comment from the fire department is that it will need inspection.
Yeah, when it comes time. Okay. I'd like to see some colors and what it's really gonna look like. You're gonna buy the door for it, you're gonna know what it's gonna be, are you gonna, and I can see you doing, putting murals on there. So it'd just be the green roof and whatever, the murals on it. But everybody else who comes in here, we have to approve stuff,
That's fine. We'll get Ethan to get out his colored pencils and, make a color.
all right.
So we want to table this until, okay. So I would make a motion that we table the architectural review application of Eric Unkoff for 100 Beaver Street, who is seeking amendment to the architectural approval that was given in December of 25, so that the applicant can produce additional documents and information as requested by the board.
Second, all in favor?
Since we're talking, I just want to, so when we approved these containers, they were being used as signs. And
Right.
one of the provisions was, like, you weren't supposed to be using
Anything inside.
inside. But now we have shipping containers, which are going to be used for storage in the green room. So does that bring up additional, I guess that's the code office?
Yep,
deal
so
with
we just
that?
tabled this, so now we're gonna have.
Okay.
Yep.
We might want to check with the code office and
Yep.
find out, because again, they were approved as signs, not to be used for anything. Now
Anything
we're
else.
using them inside.
Yeah, this
So-
just says 4 walls and a roof and people occupying it, it's built.
Yeah, so all the other ones that we approved, like the other one we just approved, this whole site they're supposed to be locked and nothing inside them. They're being used as signs. So now we're in a different.
Now they're an accessory structure and it now is subject to all kinds of other code things that the applicant needs to know and needs to meet those, right? Okay.
Site plan review, SB 24-006, 91 through 93 Warren Street, LLC, owner of 91 through 93 Warren Street, tax map number 310.5-3-8, seeks an amended site plan review approval to include an outside dining patio fronting Warren Street. That original application, August 24th. How are you, sir?
Good, how are you? I'm Matt Hummel. I'm the owner of 9193 Warren Street. I'm looking to make an improvement to the front of the building for an outdoor dining space for the restaurant. It's currently under construction. To transform it into a restaurant, this would be the final phase to complete the project. I did go through and get zoning board approval for the minimum setback requirement for the area use variance. So we're good to go there. So you guys take some time to review it, let me know your thoughts, and certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, that's.
Would anyone from the public like to comment on this application? No, you're under construction now?
Yeah, so we're under construction. The building permit was gonna have to be extended just because the timeline's kind of stretched out. Everything, but they got the drywall, has gone up inside, pretty much looking to paint, get the fixtures up, and, you know, can probably see all when I get more time and money to allocate to it.
Okay, what do we have here, property line? The building to the property line, 9.6.
One more to the 3-inch setback. So essentially it's gonna be a 0 setback, which is in line.
It's gonna be up to the line.
Yeah. And on the site plan, there's planters, those are removable, that would be going through a personal permit.
And yeah, just one planter from the city that's on the right, it's just growing weeds right now.
I'd like to see a tree there or something, that'd be nice.
Oh, it says planter on there, I just want to clarify that that's, yeah, there's nothing.
Yeah, that's city owned.
Okay.
Grind it, mulch down or something.
Nina?
I'm actually seeing this for the first time. So the only difference, everything we approved before, you're proceeding with it, you're doing it all, and this is an add-on to it. I think it's great. As long as we're meeting the requirements for sidewalk width.
Yep.
So that'll be.
I like the separation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna have railings, black or wrought iron railings, you know, on an elevated concrete form throughout. It's gonna kind of like box it in a little bit. There's an existing handicap ramp there, and that's gonna be reworked. So that's part of the, you know, the project. So yeah, I'm excited about it. I think it's gonna look great, and I think it's gonna really make an asset to the area too. Really go. Be very attractive building when it's all said and done with the outdoor dining space, the tables and all that. Really excited about it.
Mr. Landry?
I really have no questions. I think this is just a continuation of the improvements you would have done.
Yes.
I think it looks good. It's different. You know, the fact that it is a portion building, it's going to have to separate the sidewalk. I think it looks great.
Great. Thank you.
Mr. Trammell?
Yeah, the only thing I had was, the larger planters, the ones that show the trees in them.
Yes.
It's kind of deceiving because it actually, in the picture, it says 4x4 planters. They measure 3x3.
Yeah.
Not 4x4. So you're going to drop it down to, less than 2 feet of sidewalk space with a 4x4 planter, those locations.
Right.
ADA's 3 feet.
Right.
So a 3x3 planter barely makes it. The other ones, the 10 foot by 16 foot planters measured properly and they're fine. But those other 4 or 3, it's deceiving, because it says 4x4, but they actually on the plan you gave, they're actually 3x3 when measured out.
Yeah, understood. From what I understand about the planters, there's a separate permitting process that I have to go through the city to have built on city property. I'm not sure
Yeah,
what details of that.
well, but we're looking at the enforcement of the sidewalk.
Okay.
So that would be our concern. So right now, if you're proposing 4x4 planters, you would encroach, into the ADA compliant for the sidewalk.
Yeah, that's,
So that would, that's not something, so I think that would be a separate encroachment that the city.
Okay.
What is the width? Oh,
Right, but we can't, for minutes, we can't say, yes, we approve it based on the drawings. We know it's not
It's in
ADA.
violation.
And it's blocking
not
the
out
side.
the adequate width on the sidewalk. There are, what is the dimension where you know of the sidewalk?
You don't have that dimension from that end.
It's like, well, I measured it all out based on the scale. It's 5 feet from the actual area where it's constructing to the actual edge of the sidewalk, not the curb side, not when it goes to the curb. It's 5 feet.
so we've got a typo from what I understand based on that. So if it's 4x4, it's actually 3x3, is what you're saying, it measures out.
Yes, they measure out.
Okay, so then it would be a typo on the paperwork. I mean,
What's that?
from what I understand, it's a typo. It should be a 3x3, not a 4x4, because if it measures out 3x3,
Okay,
if we're okay with that, I'd be willing to.
just make it a little smaller.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we can make it a 3x3, and I can change that to indicate 3x3. That works with all things considered with the handicap.
Yeah, you end up with just over 3 feet, basically. Scale.
Okay.
Good.
So I,
All right. Discuss.
Did I understand correctly? So the material for the outdoor dining unit that is concrete?
So I have the engineer, we had conversations regarding that. He told me that we could go either way. It could be wood or concrete. I'd prefer it to be concrete with either stamped concrete or a concrete wall around the perimeter for the railings, and then possibly inlay pavers. So those are, I'm preferring it to be that way, the rail, the concrete wall with the inlaid pavers or stamped concrete, depending on how, things work out budget-wise.
For an outdoor dining area, do you anticipate outdoor lighting? I didn't see it.
There is lighting on the building, that we added 3 fixtures across the front. They're not shown on the diagram here, but the boxes are installed in the building for that, and they're basically, right next to the doors, and then one in the center of the building. And that was all for the lighting system. Yeah.
Sure.
So the deck is about 255 square feet, is that right? The deck, and it's gonna exceed, I'm looking at your drawing, about 42 people.
He had indicated 42 people on there. I was just doing the quick math before I actually came up here, and it was,
I think that's what it says on the application, I might be reading it wrong. 254.38 square feet total area of proposed dining space, meaning the outdoor dining.
Yeah, it's about 200 feet.
No, I just don't want to approve anything that's not going to be compliant with the ADA, so with those modifications, I don't.
okay.
From what I recall, the zoning board did consider the ADA requirements, giving the variance. So I'm not sure.
But they wouldn't have looked at, it's the planners that are sticking out.
The planners are on the plan of the ADA, which is striking, but again, they still need to get the encroachment permit.
Yeah.
So the line, we did have measurements from survey line, from the distance to the curb from the property line is about 10.5 feet. So the distance from like where the fire hydrant is to the property line is about 13 feet. You have a lot of space there.
Yeah, there's a bunch of streets.
Oh. Just where,
Right, which is the edge of the exposed deck. So there's about 13 feet there.
It's all concrete right now. It's basically from
Yeah,
the edge of the
yeah.
building all the way to the building.
Right, yeah.
So I'm basically looking at just
Upgraded.
upgrade it, kind of organize it a little bit, define the areas.
It'll be new and look nice. Mr. Morris?
How are you reworking the ramp? Just
So, yeah, there's, an existing drawing and then a proposed drawing. Basically, the ramp is gonna come, currently the ramp is against the building. So it's not a great use of space for the building because you're basically occupying almost all the front of the building for this ramp. So we're pulling the ramp away from the building and we're turning the ramp so that it's actually directed towards the circle, towards Westfall, the circle there. And so it's going to be actually shorter, the incline of the ramp, because the grade is higher from like the Children's Museum and it drops down towards Fredella. So it's actually more in line with the grade of the land versus going, up and up. If that makes sense.
That makes sense.
so that, and so the ramp will be ADA compliant also, right?
Yes, there's landing area and there's, all the railings and the turn area.
Just how old is that?
I talked to the previous owners and he says it's one of the oldest buildings in Glens Falls. I'm not sure, how.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to find that out myself too, but he couldn't put an exact date on it. I asked him what was there. He said it's, a blacksmith shop at one point, maybe a pub or something like that. I mean, it's kind of the same kind of theme, but he didn't really clarify exactly what.
So the renovations in an old building like that is going to be expensive, right? With the wiring and.
There was a lot of work that was done prior to
Yeah,
purchasing of it.
Yeah.
Back in, I think it was like 2009, they went through, but then yes, it did need more structural work. Inside, there was a lot that was done, but it was kind of a blank palette, like the commercial space, the upstairs, the apartments were all completed, they were done 100%, but the inside space, the electrical had been upgraded, there was a nice three-phase panel there, but nothing was really brought into it, but yeah, it was all there, just ready to be,
I'm okay with it as long as you make the ADA compliant adjustments if they're needed at all.
It was renovated years ago and then nothing ever went in there. So it's so good that you're in there.
Yeah.
And in spring, and if you're gonna do the restaurant there, and the drawings look great, we've gone over the compliance issues, and again, when it comes to the encroachment, you'll have to come back for the next curve.
Planters.
I like the drawing, I think it looks great, and spreading that out of the city, that mass from, just one street out with Mint and there, it's a good thing. So I think it's a good thing. Michelle,
There's no seeker, right? Okay. So I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural Review, hereby grant amendment to the prior architectural review and site plan review approval to 91-93 Warren Street LLC, owner of 91-93 Warren Street, tax map 310.5-3-8, to permit the 27-foot 6-inch by 9-foot 3-inch outside dining patio space on Warren Street, ensuring that there is full compliance with the ADA regarding sidewalk clearance and the ramp, as presented at today's meeting, July 1, 2026.
I guess second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Next one. Site plan review, SP 26-024, Celia Bora, owner of 1900 Street, tax map number 302.16-15-14, seeks a certificate of pre-existing non-conforming to operate on a homestead short-term rental unit in a residential district. Table.
Yeah, and this is, so I know as you know, with the implementation of the new short-term rental law, all existing short-term rentals were given actually until February to apply for this pre-existing certificate of non-conformity. The applicant had been in contact with Devin prior to that date and then never filled out or never sent in the rest of the materials. So the board can decide whether or not they want to entertain this request in general, given that, the date has expired for that request. But the applicant was unable to make it tonight, and so I requested that in the table.
Are they operating it now as a short-term rental?
In her discussion with Devin, I think she is.
Was it, was it a long-term rental prior to this, or was it always a short-term rental?
I am not.
Is that?
No, I think it was short term, and she's one of the ones that fell into,
They were operating, they had a certificate, but with our new law, they're no longer, after 2028, are no longer able to
Right,
operate.
if we approved it, it would be under the sunset clause. So, they're currently in violation then?
Yes.
Okay.
Does the board even have the authority to violate the law?
Well,
We're just gonna table this and something the building codes, in case you.
I mean, they violated the law.
Yeah.
so this was one of the cases that they were given to that February 4th date. She did just have discussions with Devin and then didn't follow through. So that, I think it would be, yeah, up to the board, I guess. Give a,
Maybe I'll have to come towards trying to resolve their violations because they have a problem trying to.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that's not a place for this board. This board would just get approve things that come in front of it. We wouldn't be permitting a violation
Right now,
or at any time.
Well, we've approved a couple of them with the sunset clause.
Yeah, but the paper was in and everything.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm saying is the paperwork's not in.
Right.
I don't know how the board.
They missed their deadline.
Somebody that's violated the law.
so I was unclear, so her short-term rental permit request was in, but she did not have her the site plan review.
The request was in.
Yeah.
All right, well, we'll table this.
I'll make a motion to table it for the appearance of the applicant.
Second, all in favor? Site plan review, SB 26-025, architectural review, AR 26-005, Haywood Ventures LLC, owner of 65 Elm Street, tax map number 302.20-21-12C, site plan review and architectural review for the renovation of an existing accessory structure to establish an additional dwelling unit on site of an already existing multifamily residential structure.
Hi there, I'm Nicole Herwig, and this is Juan Herwig.
Welcome, tell us about your project.
There's an existing building on the property, and we are seeking to convert it into a two-bedroom, to have two-bathroom dwelling. There's already 13 parking spaces on the property. The home of the property was originally a doctor's office, and this is was a garage that was part of that whole property. So behind the building, there's 9 parking spots, and in the front of the building, there's 4 parking spots. Currently, the 4 units in the main house occupy the 4 front parking spots. But there's, since it was a doctor's office, plenty of room to go around to access the 9 spots in the back as well.
Would anyone from the public like to comment on this item? Mr. Landry.
This is the former office of Dr. Gold.
Yes.
I didn't take it out.
Well, this is the garage.
Please, the microphone, like, so.
This is the separate two-car garage. Pretty tall building that's next to her Magnolia's office one. Okay. It's on the same property.
I mean, that being a garage, you've got to bring in plumbing and electrical, and you've got to basically turn it into a home.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. And then the question I had was the parking. I know there's parking that kind of goes perpendicular to the house that's there. And then there's additional parking in front of the garage.
Behind the garage.
Behind the garage.
Yes, there's space in front of the garage
Right,
to access the back.
right,
It's paved, so.
right.
No road later, goes to the back of the additional.
All right. So there'll be no additional like blacktopping or paving, you just
No.
can utilize existing parking.
There's already existing lines as well.
Right, right, okay. So any conditions as far as blacktop or pervious surface is gonna be grandfathered in because it's existing.
They're under their, they're not.
Okay. No, other than that, I have no questions, because like I say, I'm familiar with the building, and I think it'd be a good use of.
It's in good condition.
Yeah,
Which is part of why we want to do this.
okay.
Yeah, I'm familiar with it. Now, if you reach out to the water and sewer department, bring in lines from the street. So I assume you're gonna bring water and sewer lines in. That's correct.
So we were looking at our options to tie into the main house as well. We have had, IBS came in, and looked at the property where to tie in from the street or the option of tying into the main house.
Have you talked to the city engineer about this yet?
He was, he was set back it.
He wasn't. Okay, well, I'm just saying with the water, that's something that wasn't in here. So in other words, where the water lines are coming in, where the sewer line is going out, the capacity of the house versus that, adding apartments. I mean, the cleanest way would be, of course, to bring water and sewer lines in from the city, directly. Because you do have issues as far as the old infrastructure in that home. I'm sure those lines are probably old cast lines.
I think they are newer,
Yeah,
they're newer lines in the house.
Okay, that's the only thing I would.
we know where the lines are.
Yeah, make sure we reach out and handle those issues properly.
No questions on that.
Sure.
The garage, it's 1 2-bedroom, 1 2-bedroom.
One unit,
Garage, 1 2-bedroom.
1 unit, yes.
Okay.
2 levels.
And the house currently has how many?
4.
4. Okay. You need 9. And you have
The 13.
Yeah, have enough space. And there's no other changes other than you're converting a garage into a 2-bedroom use.
2 bath belt, yeah, 2 bedroom, 2 bath dwelling.
I have no other.
Smokes.
No comments, as long as you meet the code and the fire requirements. You're fine.
Dana?
Yeah, I mean, architecturally, you're talking on the shed dormers. That height, it looks like it's sort of in keeping with the siding, material, look that's there. And you're not raising the ridge line, there's a lot of coverage, but interesting. Sense I get from the drawings is it's intended to look like a smaller version of the main house.
It is.
And I don't have any other concerns, anybody else about it.
What's it? I asked you public comment. Is it?
Thank you.
What's it?
Type 2. So I gather people like it, so.
Yep. Just, yeah, just to go along with that motion, just to comply, you got it.
All right, so I would like to make a motion, I'll do 2 separate motions, because one is for site plan.
Thank you.
I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Site Plan Review, hereby grant site plan approval, SP 26-25, Hayfield Ventures LLC, owner of 65 Elm Street, tax map number 302.20-21-12, for the renovation of the existing garage to establish an additional 2-bedroom, 2-bath,
Yes.
thank you, dwelling unit in the already existing multifamily residential. Subject to compliance with all code requirements and as presented of the meeting of today, July 1, 2026.
Can I get a second? All in favor?
Aye. Okay, and now,
That'd be a nice place for walking downtown.
Yes, thank you.
Be a good addition. Good luck.
now I gotta do architectural.
Oh, sorry.
I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Architectural Review, hereby grant architectural review for the renovation of the existing accessory structure to establish an additional dwelling unit located at 65 Elm Street, tax map number 302.2-21-12, Hayfield Ventures LLC owner, as presented at the meeting of today, July 1, 2026.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Site plan review, SB 26-026, Adonis ZLL, owner of 144 Glen Street, tax map number 309.28, excuse me, 309.28-4-86, site plan review to establish 5 dwelling units on the upper floors of a mixed-use building.
Good evening. For your records, Ethan Hall, Principal of Brzezinski Hall Architecture, here tonight representing Adonis LLC. This is 144 Glen. We were here before you for the previous owner, and with the mural that went up on the wall. So the building permit was issued for the 2 apartments that are currently in the building, and they subsequently sold the building, and now they're looking to, the new owner is looking to make additional apartments in the upper floors. The owner who had previously gotten the apartments approved up there, it was their intent to live in it. They wound up getting a better place in another town and decided to sell this. They didn't like the being right downtown. So these owners are looking to do this downtown. The drawings that you have represent what was originally approved and what is being proposed. So I can walk you through the drawings if you'd like. The drawing EX0 is the existing main floor plan. This is the Domino's that's downstairs. There are no modifications being made at this time at this level. It does have an exterior entry that comes in off from the Hudson Street side of the building to the main staircase. The drawing EX1 is the half story. So when you come into this building, you come up, this used to be the dance studio, to reference where everything was. You come up a half flight of stairs and there's an entry into this small apartment. That apartment stayed basically as it is. We're just renovating and changing things around inside the apartment. From there, you continue up the stair to what is on drawing EX2. This shows the layout that we had gotten approved previously. And this was going to be the main living area. And then on the 3rd floor was going to be the bedroom spaces for the previous owner. So that gets us to drawing EX4. EX4 is the exterior elevation of the building. This is the side that has the mural on it now. And then drawing EX5 shows all of the front, rear, and opposite side elevations of the building. There is some building sections here that show you what's going on as far as where the half story is, where the basement is, and where the upper floors are. The drawing A1 shows that layout of the half story and what that apartment will wind up being. Again, this will be basically a studio, this one's a 1-bedroom apartment, 1-bath apartment. No real modifications structurally done with this. All of this is really just interior modifications. So the only reason we're here for site plan, that's the the second floor plan shows the layout for the new fire rated staircase, and the two apartments that will be there. The front apartment that faces out on the Centennial Circle will basically be a studio apartment. And then the one in the back also is just a studio apartment. And then the third floor again shows top of the staircase, the apartment at the front with the studio and the apartment in the back. That actually has a bedroom, but doesn't have a door on it. So it's technically a studio up there as well. That's basically the extent of the modifications. Like I said, everything is interior to the building. There's no exterior modifications that are being made. Other than there is an existing fire escape that gets from the second floor to the ground. The original portion of the building had a fire escape that was taken off, and that obviously back on.
Even the drawings, the EX drawings, and those drawings, do they represent what was included or no changes?
Right, in the current condition.
So they show all exterior changes shown in the EX drawings with the previously.
Those were all done, yes, with the exception of the addition of the stair of the fire escape on the back of the building.
Is that gone, you said? The fire escape's gone?
It exists from the second floor down. So the second floor, the half story and down to grade, but for whatever reason, from the second floor up, it was taken off, and that was done actually when the dance studio was in there.
Before we get into comments, is there anybody from the public that would like to comment on this? Okay. So
This is just site plan review, not an architectural review. That
Just like
an
that.
architectural question.
It's
Well,
just like that.
there's no changes to the exterior.
Yeah, the only thing I saw in here is it said that on one drawing, it said the spindles or something were going to be changed to wire or something. Did I see that right?
That was in the EX drawing. They were originally going to take all those spindles off on the back.
Because that wouldn't really fit with,
No, and the new owners are not.
it's going to sell.
Making no modification to that on the exterior at all. That was.
Sometimes that would mean it's sort of an architectural review.
Correct.
Yeah.
And that was part of the original drawings, but the current owners are making any modifications to that at all.
So there's a structure sort of lower center. Is that an elevator shaft?
It's an elevator shaft.
Okay. So
It was a freight elevator that was in the building.
So does that remain blocked off? So it looks like it opens up to like that.
Yeah, that's where all the mechanicals are.
Okay, so it's essentially like a mechanical chase.
Chase.
Okay, it's changing.
I'm trying to figure out why
The elevator is actually in the basement, but it's welded off.
Okay. And then just related to the fire escape on the half floor, it looks like, well, on all floors, it looks like there's a fridge blocking half the window, which I guess that's a choice for the upper floors, but on the half story, it's partially blocking the window that would lead to the fire escape.
That actually is the next side over. So that the way that fire escape works in the back, because it goes out. There is a window that's there that doesn't show up on this drawing, so that has to be added back in, and then it goes from there down.
Okay, so it's not on the inside. I just want to make sure that we're not blocking.
No, it won't block it. So it actually goes from the middle and goes down.
Okay, thank you.
That's it. Mr. Chairman?
I'm sure you probably already talked to Aaron about the fire escape.
Yes.
So with that, those are strict requirements to add them back to the building.
Yes.
But anything new has to meet current code, which I know they frown upon ladders, so I'm not sure how you're gonna do that, but he can work with you through that.
Yes.
The other issue I have is by adding the apartment on the second apartment on the third floor, you've eliminated the second path of egress.
So that has the balcony on the front, and that
It doesn't have egress off the balcony.
So what we're gonna wind up doing, because the building's fully sprinklered all the way down, is we're gonna put a area of refuge at the top.
I mean, I would have to look into the code for area of refuge. I'm not sure that's gonna make it cut for area of refuge. And the biggest issue you have is you can do it with, it seems like there are ways to do it, but your common path egress travel has to be, I think it's 125,
Yes.
and you're gonna exceed 125 from where you are.
He said,
It's all the way, because you have no other choice.
it's all the way.
It goes all the way to the out, common way, so it's gonna go all the way out to the sidewalk. So I don't think you're gonna make it. The reason it probably was, could be approved prior is because you had a fire escape for originally, but now you don't in the front apartment. Eliminated that by making it 2 apartments.
Yeah.
So, there's gonna be some code issues I believe you're gonna have.
I've already talked to Eric about it, and I know we have some things to work through with him.
Yeah, because area roughing is now required. Intercom systems, they're required. It's
Yeah.
not as easy as just area roughing.
It has to have a direct line. Yep.
And I'm not even sure about that type of structure and that type of occupancy.
With the existing building codes, there is some leeway with that. So,
But like I said, that's the only issue I have. I think that second apartment on the 3rd floor kind of threw a wrench into the plans before. That's the only issue I saw.
yeah, and that's why we've got that one door right at the top of the stairs. I do have to check the numbers to going down the stair, around the corner, back down.
Yeah, I kind of did foot calculations. Because it's from the furthest point in the apartment. So, which would probably include bulking. So, okay, that's all I had.
Mr. Landry?
Jeannie said a lot of what I was gonna do, that fire escape on the back. The one that used to go up on the 2nd floor, when we brought it off the building.
Yeah.
And fell off. Yeah. And that type of ladder with a straight down ladder is acceptable.
That's what I gotta work through with Aaron.
Okay.
Like Jamie said, they don't like them. Again, the existing building code does give us some leeway code wise to work with that. I gotta work through it with Aaron. We may have to wind up with one of the stairs that, as you get on it, it tips.
Downstairs.
Yep.
Instead of having the ladder there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Landry, you good?
Other than that, I think it looked good. A lot of usable space there. And then, well, one other quick thing too, because it brings back childhood memories about parking.
Well, we're in the CCD.
Does it have, we're gonna ask this, if you are in that downtown, does it have some parking behind it?
So there are a couple of spaces that are in the lot right behind it. You do have to, they co-use those with the folks from Domino's. So obviously when Domino's is operational, they're using those for their delivery cars and stuff like that. But I think there's 3 spaces back there.
I mean, that's been an issue for 50 years.
Yeah.
We used to own the parking lot behind it.
Right.
You could tow our cars. It was.
They do have, whether if a tenant gets there first, the guy has to park on the street.
Or they do have the new parking garage right around the corner.
I have no other questions, thank you.
No more questions. So, all stuff that I had written down, thank you. Sure. And the whole building is sprinkled.
Yes, 100%.
So the egress thing is a thing, parking, it is what it is for that downtown area. I thought there was a few spots in that building, but
There is.
It's, how we built things on, 150 years ago. I think it's great, I love living downtown, if we can get some more of these spaces renovated that are safely done.
Yeah.
I really don't have any issues with it, there's some hurdles you need to go over, which, as you know.
Yeah.
It seems like everyone here is pretty happy with the plan as long as it complies with all the codes.
Yeah, we know we got some code stuff to work through.
I just want to comment, when we make a resolution, because those aluminum railings were shown and what was previously approved, can we state that the existing historic rail stay
100%.
on the facade?
What's that? Oh, put it in the thing that's not gonna.
Yeah, simply because those aluminum railings were previously approved, so I want to make sure that.
It doesn't get messed with.
Well, that somebody doesn't refer back to it and say, this is what was approved, and we just amend that by saying that we leave the existing historic rails.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Okay.
since this is a multi-use building, it doesn't necessarily fit any of the type two categories, so we're gonna have you go through the short form for the seeker. On 3 questions, you guys give your consensus answer. Will the proposed action create a material conflict with the adopted land use plan or zoning regulations?
No.
Will the proposed action result in a change in the use or intensity of use of land?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of the existing community?
No.
Will the proposed action have an impact on the environmental characteristics because of the establishment of the CEA?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change in the existing level of traffic or affect existing infrastructure for mass transit, biking, or walkway?
No.
Will the proposed action cause an increase in the use of energy and it fails to incorporate reasonably available energy conservation or renewable energy opportunities?
No.
Will the proposed action impact existing public and private water supply or wastewater treatment utilities?
No.
Will the proposed action impair the character or quality of important historic, archaeological, architectural, or aesthetic resources?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an adverse change to natural resources?
No.
Will the proposed action result in an increase in the potential for erosion, flooding, or drainage?
No.
Will the proposed action create a hazard to environmental resources or human health?
No.
Okay, Chairman, so based on that, you would take a motion for negative declaration.
I make a motion for a negative declaration. Okay.
Well, I think we need to accept lead agencies.
We should
So,
probably do that, yes.
yep, so, how about I amend the motion to be Glens Falls Planning Board hereby accepts lead agency status for Adonis Z LLC, owner of 144 Glen Street, tax map number 309.28-4-8. Did I say located at 154? I did. The board has determined the action to be an unlisted action, has reviewed the short form environmental assessment form, and upon the documentation and discussion, issues a negative declaration. Need a second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Just the water, roof drains separated out and they put that, do you know where that goes now? This is a pitched roof. It is,
It's just from Glen Street to the back of the building.
and it just comes down.
Yeah, it's not basically flat. I mean, it does have a small gutter on the back side of it.
There's no, it doesn't go into the city system or anything? Okay.
That's what took out the old,
Fire escape.
icicles.
Blocks, right.
Well, I'm sure they'll do some of that.
Yes, that's.
All right, so I would like to make a motion that the Glens Falls Planning Board, acting as the Board of Site Plan Review, hereby grant approval, site plan approval for the project identified as Adonis C LLC, owner of 144 Glen Street, tax map number 309-28-4-8, to establish 5 dwelling units on the upper floors of the mixed-use building, subject to the following conditions: that there is full compliance with the fire department to address egress from the 3rd floor and the fire escape. Also, again, working with building and codes to address the proper egress and the fire escape. And also that the existing historic railings are not being changed on the building.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. Thank you very much.
Recommend, next item on the agenda, written recommendation from the planning board request for subdivision SPDN 26-001 and lot line adjustment LLA 26-001. Saron Land Holdings LLC, owner of multiple parcels on Orange Street Extension, tax map number 303.18-2-10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, seek subdivision and lot line adjustment approval to establish 12 buildable lots. The proposed lots require area variances from the CBA, minimum lot area requirements pursuant to chapter 220 of the city code. The zoning board of appeals has requested a recommendation from the planning board prior to consideration of the variance request.
Good evening. Again, for your records, Ethan Hall, Principal with Brzezinski Hall Architecture, here tonight with Pond Center from Hutchins Engineering representing Cerrone Landholdings. The property is owned by the Cerrone Landholdings right now. The drawing that I have on the top here is the existing site survey that was done by Dan Newsom and Steve. It shows Wooded to Baker Street, which is an extension of Lawrence Street. It does not come directly off from the T intersection. It's an offset similar to the offset of Catherine Street. There are a total of 7 lots back there right now. First 4 along this side are already substandard size lots. The lot on the north side is the compliant lot. The 2 lots on the bottom are the large lots, and it's our intention to do the lot line adjustment and subdivision to create a total of 12 lots. You can see on drawing C1, I'm sorry, C0 of our set. This again shows the existing, it shows the sizes of the lots and the size of the frontage for each lot. The last drawing, the C1 drawing, and working with Alice, she asked me to put these in red. So you can see on there, the red lines represent what's there now. And our lines show the total of 12 lots. I did give you a chart that is the last drawing that you've got that shows size of the total lots that are being done and variances that will be requested. And you should have that chart as your last drawing.
Are they supposed to be completely lines?
Yes.
Okay.
No, 65 is the required lot width and 7,500 square feet. And the summary chart that I gave you shows what each lot will be. The thing that I wanted to point out about this is the surrounding lot within that neighborhood. All of the lots that we're creating are of equal or greater size than the ones that are right along Catherine Street and some of the ones that are along Platt Street as well. Tom is working with the city engineer on the new entry drive. It will be a city street. It'll be built to city standards. We have to bring in water, sewer, electric, gas, the whole 9 yards. So all of that, stormwater, everything's going to be into that site. It is our intent to bring in a hammerhead at the end for turnaround. We're going to put 12 single-family houses back there. The houses will be basically 2 stories. All the bedrooms will be on the upper floors. So this will be geared more towards families, which is what
the square footage on the house would be. This is just a subdivision.
This is subdivision. We'll come back with that. We're still kind of working out the details of that.
Okay.
They're not gonna be huge.
No. And when we get there, our lot coverages, the way we've worked this out, our lot coverages will meet what the requirement is, even though the lots are going to be substandard size lots. So our lot coverages are going to be in 65 to 70% range, and we'll meet all those requirements. So we're not at, the only relief that we're seeking from the variance board is for lot size and frontage.
So between these 2 lots here, with the normal street, it's 50 feet, you've got what, 47?
Yeah.
That's the thing between those lots that are already there. That's what was left.
Correct.
So can you just clarify, you just said 12 single family houses. On the EAF Part 1 description, it says 6 duplex townhouses.
That was the original one that got submitted, and I caught that with Allison. I talked to her about that.
So that's actually not.
That is not, I have to get that up. Yeah, the original submission that we had was for 6 duplexes with 0 lot line, but your zoning, and this was in front of this board for the wording in the zoning said there have to be detached residences. And whereas the duplexes would have been a 0 lot line, would have lost a lot more green space, but we can't have detached homes. We can't have detached a 0 lot line house. So we split them apart. So it's going to be the same number of bedrooms, the same number of everything else.
Mr. Landry?
You were saying the lots are gonna be 47 feet wide.
The one,
Mr. Landry,
okay,
there's a lot of people, I believe, that are here for this, so we could use our microphones and make it so everyone can hear.
Corner that over there is the walls, see that, as well as the board, is it us? Is it more? So that we can all see what we're talking about.
you can start. I think
Yep.
we
We have drawings, so
We got
just turn it right around and done.
So the common lots on this side are 41 feet, the lots on this side are 40.7. So they're basically 41.
Okay, so with setbacks, how, you're gonna have about a 20-foot wide house?
No, it's the setbacks on both sides.
8 feet.
Setbacks are required 8 feet.
8 feet.
So on a 40-foot lot line is 16 or 32, and the houses are just inside that, so they're about 30-foot wide houses.
Okay.
2-story garage in the front.
And you're saying all the utilities, all that has to be brought in?
Correct.
And that's a paper street as of now?
It's a paper street as of now. It will be developed as a city street. It'll be a dedicated city street when the engineering is.
So this is listed or in the drawing, you can see that's a paper street that goes in there, even though it doesn't line up with that Lawrence Street extension.
Yes. Yep. And that's shown on the survey. The survey shows that as Lawrence Street extension.
And well, they never did anything 100.
It was never built. There's several areas around.
No outlet or no, just no, they just have it there.
It's just laid out on the grid that way.
I'm sorry, Mr. Andrew.
Okay. And I guess other than the fact, I mean, I know the city engineers got to look at it, there's probably got, the fire department as far as access in and out, that type of thing. Is there any type of like vegetation or buffer between the houses that are going to be adjacent to this? Or is it all wide open?
No, it's all kind of swamp alder and brush in there right now.
Right.
And we will clear enough of it that we can do the grading and drainage for it, but we will leave, we show on the back sides.
Right.
Over here, show you.
Yeah.
You show where the needs to home going back to build a lot portion. Also, the rear setback, where the rear setback is where we'll stop there. Where we'll stop there.
So there is a buffer to the existing.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than that, I have no questions.
Hammerheads are my least favorite.
Here they are.
They're not functional for fire apparatus. They're terrible for plowing. The issue, we do have hammerheads, a couple of them in the city that have been a lot recent. The difference between those hammerheads and this one is one side of the hammerhead allows for plowing. You have driveway entrances on both sides of the hammerhead, which eliminates the ability to remove snow. You also have, it looks like less than 5 feet from the edge of your road to the next property line, which the city owns. So, as far as plowing snow up a 378-foot roadway, to the end of the hammerhead, I see issues. So I don't know if Rush reached out to the DPW regarding that. And that's just the DPW side of that.
Aren't they just gonna push it onto the city property once it's dedicated to the city?
Yes, once we get further along in the review, we're thinking about doing something similar to what they do at the end of Robertson, where they have a gate that can be locked normally, which city keys unlock, and they can push snow straight out through. But we're still working out some other details with that, but right now, preliminary, that's part of the plan.
Those are the big issue I have is that, you're dealing with, issues, turning around issues. And it's pretty deep. It's 370 feet, so it's a pretty good track. It's not, 150 feet is the code. So anything over 150 feet, you're well over double that. So, that was my biggest concern as far as the road construction part. As far as the lots, I understand you're trying to maximize profit. And you're saying it's in character with the rest of the buildings, but everything was in character because the city used to have 40-foot lots, then they went to 50-foot lots, then they went to 65-foot lots. So they did that for a reason, and everything was in character at that point in time. People bought a double lot or bought, a double lot. to build one house. Because the city couldn't approve that. So, I understand what they're trying to do. I don't know what's the right thing to do, but I understand what they're trying.
So in your narrative, it says bedrock is assumed to be relatively close to the surface. Will any blasting be required during construction?
No, these buildings aren't going to have basements in them. They're going to be frost walls with slab.
What about for utility, water, sewer lines?
Yeah, we don't know. The engineering hasn't progressed that far along. I don't know even if it was something that we had to do, they could probably do it with a hydraulic hammer.
Have you thought through how you're addressing on-site stormwater management?
That's part of this, depending on the number of lots, we'll set up how we address stormwater on the lots. We do know we're gonna have to bring in fill. The lot itself sits several feet lower than the road, so we're gonna have to bring everything up, so that's gonna give us added area. And then based on the number of lots, the size of the houses, determine how, which direction we go with stormwater management. But we know we have some work to do with the city engineer's office.
And I guess just in addition to the fire trucks and snowplow issue, you're gonna have an issue with garbage trucks going down that road, having to turn around as well. It's a tight little space.
The hammerhead should be enough for them to turn the truck around.
Will there be pedestrian access at the end of this road to East Field, to the city property?
More than likely, yes.
And then,
Fence there now? No.
No, there's a trail that goes through there that's been used since I was in high school. There's a trail that's there that's been used since I was in high school to get from Platt Street to the field.
Okay.
It's pretty well overgrown, but there's no fence, there's nothing along that line. Which of course, as part of this project, working with the city engineer, those are some of the areas we're gonna want to clean up, we're gonna be adjacent to it. And as we work through the process with them, there's some options that we have to work out.
and then this development would require the removal of a fair number of trees. Have you thought through, can this be mitigated by plantings either on site or off site?
Yeah, we'll come in with a full planting plan. There's a lot of steps involved before we get to that point. So we know that there's a lot of engineering that has to be done. We know that there's landscaping that has to be accomplished and that kind of stuff. We haven't developed all that yet because we've got these other steps to get through first.
This sidewalk on both sides?
More than likely, yes.
I mean, my understanding is you're here because the zoning board wanted the planning board to take a look at this and say, gee, this is a good idea, or no, it's not a good idea, right? They apparently didn't feel comfortable granting.
No, according to New York State code, if a subdivision requires an area variance, so the zoning board needs written recommendation.
Okay.
Gotta get it from.
All right,
So I would have dive into,
right.
you're well aware of the questions the zoning board needs to answer, so that's sort of what you're.
So when I look at this and I say, oh, why should we be granting, or why should the ZBA grant variance for a small lot? But then I look at every single lot that surrounds this, and they're all 40 feet, 42 feet, 40 feet, 40 feet. So when you're looking at an area variance, and is it in the character of the neighborhood, or is it distinguishable? I don't have a problem with the ZBA granting a variance which creates lots exactly the same as their neighbors. Nor should the neighbors have a problem. Well, maybe, whatever. I shouldn't have said that, but I think it is in conformity with all the other lots in the surrounding area. And so I would not have an issue recommending to the zoning board that it shouldn't be a problem for the area variance for the lot size or the frontage, because I think every single other one that surrounds this entire neighborhood is the same way. So my own one opinion here is that I would recommend to the zoning board that why not approve the area variances? Certainly, it would meet the criteria. They can go through the test.
Snorks?
So this is a change from the two unit houses to the single. I think that there's some good and bad. The lot sizes are not a problem, but concerns that Jamie mentioned about the hammer. And also, I know that that path on the city property is right behind that fence. So that if you were pushing snow or something, you're gonna block that.
And that doesn't get used in the winter time. That shit goes to the Little League. Which I don't think you should be allowed to push your snow. I'm just sorry to interject. There's someone that's done work there, it doesn't get used in the winter, but you shouldn't move your problem to someone else.
Yeah, but once the street is dedicated to the city, it's the city
It's
who
problem.
gets snow onto its own property.
Yeah, once it's.
Once this street is created and dedicated, we now own the street and we manage it the way we want.
Yeah,
And there's sidewalks taking away from
to the park, absolutely, but yes, 100%. Maybe they will, maybe the city, they might open up a corridor then.
And all of these issues.
Whether or not you recommend the CDA that they variances from 12 lots and these sides. That's all.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
And you're gonna come back with all the other concerns.
Once we get past that next step.
See,
Correct.
and if you don't get past CDA, you may be coming back with a different.
Drastically,
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, so just like I mentioned, I think there's good and bad. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I understand why it's maximized the number of lots there. Absolutely, the reason for it. So the hammerhead at the end, does that mean we're going to be turning around in the driveway of those 200 houses?
Well, the driveways are kind of part of the hammerhead.
So
And so, yes, to an extent, anybody that would be, if you drove down that street by accident, you will be signage at the end, this is a dead end street, there is no through traffic, however that is done. But if somebody, I mean, it happens on Lake Avenue, my wife did it for years.
I just wanna.
They would go down to the end of the street, and it was especially during Memorial Day weekend, during the parade. We'd sit there and count how many cars would turn down Lake Ave, go down and turn around and come back because they couldn't get out. And that's exactly.
It's just sometimes you see them though where it's extra land
Yep.
at the end of the street that is not part of anyone's yard.
And as Tom was saying, at the end of Robertson, it's that way now. There is a gate at the end the city has access to.
Yeah.
So they could, that could continue.
Right.
And it may be something that we, as we're working through this, that we work through with the DPW, that, hey, they want that connection through there. And we would provide, something like that where you would go out and it would be an out only going out through there. But again, that's something that we still have to work through with engineering and DPW.
I don't think we don't have room for that at this point with these number of lots because you've maxed it out. But I don't.
A cul-de-sac won't work.
Cul-de-sac.
It takes up.
No. Yes.
Lot 12 and 8 would, or 6 would have to be.
The 4 end lots would be significantly smaller. Because it has to be a 50-foot turn.
Okay.
So I guess my questions and concerns have to do with infrastructure and the density that would be brought on by this. I myself have argued for projects that are on lots that are small or smaller than what's typically required, because a lot of the zoning overlays were done after the original neighborhoods were in place, so you find yourself with a pre-existing non-conforming lot size, but then these are all new lots, so there is the opportunity to say, why is the zoning code recommending larger lots for this area? And those are my thoughts.
Yeah, thanks. I just wanted to make a comment about the process too, so that we're thinking about it a little bit. I'm gonna be working with the planning office. But it seems like what needs to happen is this recommendation will go back to the zoning board. They may or may not make a decision at the next meeting for them. That kind of depends on whether or not this board wants to take lead agency status and we'll do a coordinated review. It appears to be an unlisted action, so we don't have to do coordinated review, but since it's going back and forth between the two boards, we may want to consider doing coordinated review, taking lead agency tonight, or passing the motion indicating we would serve as lead agency, then the zoning board would have to say they agree with that, then it would have to come back to us, planning board, for the actual seeker determination. And then it would go back to the zoning board for the actual determination on the variance, which means it would then need to come back to us yet another time. I'm just saying it's still going to be a long process. Like they mentioned, they still have a lot of materials to provide to us for a full review of the subdivision application. And again, we're only looking tonight at the recommendation on the lot sizes and the variances that the ZBA will be considering.
So Clark,
Yeah.
just to clarify, is the board being asked to make a recommendation, positive or negative, to the CDA, or are we simply recommending that this moves through us because it's not being shot?
We're just being asked to make a recommendation.
And then passes, and obviously, we're not going to speak for the ZBA, they'll make their own decision.
They make their own determination, but yes, it's you are being asked to make a recommendation on what the ZBA will be doing for the variance, not the subdivision itself.
No, I understand that.
Yeah.
This is just related to the lot size.
The lot size and the frontage.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna open, what's that?
Can I just do two? The engineer did provide comments, is concerned about on-site stormwater management, as you all brought up. This project will also require a SWIP, but again, there isn't much room for that on-site stormwater management given the configuration. In the future, like, they'll have detailed plans for the public street utility extension, and there is concern amongst the engineering and DPW department about snow storage and turnaround space. And when you're considering your recommendations or notes to the zoning board, there are 4 factors that the zoning board considers when looking at area variances, and that's about undesirable change to the neighborhood. Can the benefits sought by the applicant be achieved in any other feasible alternative way? Whether the variance is substantial, and whether the variance will have an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about what you want to say to the zoning board.
I want to take the time now to open this up to public comment. It's 3 minutes. You can come up if you'd like to speak, say your name and where you live. Anyone that would like to comment on this, please come up now.
Hi, my name is Audrey Karen. I live on 12 Catherine Street. Have the property that Victor Cerrone owns behind me. It is a wetland. I wouldn't call it a swamp area. There are many different species of wildlife that live in there. It is a wetland. We do get flooded behind there, and also the parties on Platt Street, even on other sides of the street. We had rain last evening. We get ponding on Catherine Street at the probably mid-level to the end to Platt Street. Every time it rains, a heavy rain. We do have our basements that fill up with water also. So I'm concerned, one, for the environment. Wetlands are 10 times able to get carbon dioxide out of the air than dry lands. We have industries, as you know, that surround us. There are the traffic. I don't know if you spent time there in that area. The traffic is horrendous. It's constant. They're speeding between Catherine and Platt, and they're speeding between Haskell, the corner of Catherine up Haskell, and the corner of Platt, or the corner of Catherine up Platt. So we're having traffic. I have my camera and it's all day long. We have 18-wheelers going through. We have wide loads going through. Kelman and Ames Goldsmith are right in front of me. We have all the dust and debris that are coming and falling off the trucks there. So you want to bring in 12 new homes to this. That is a buffer for us between us and the baseball fields and the playground and East Field, which are all beautiful, and they well deserve to be there, but it's also our park. I think a lot of people are saddened, and a lot of people didn't get this letter that live in the neighborhood. It's just us who will abut the property. I think everybody in the neighborhood should have received that letter. But I'll have to-
You can go to the zoning board when they have their hearing. Okay?
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Hi, I'm Linda Plant. I live at 10 Catherine Street, actually right next to Audrey. I'd like to start by showing everyone, some of you might have, in the audience, you might have this copy. I'm not sure how many of you realize this, but 19 years ago, in the Post-Star, on October 31st of 2007, Reagan, ex-Mayor Reagan, was going to develop that property back there. That was 19 years ago. We found out about it the day that he was back there. I was in my backyard admiring the beautiful fall day, and I heard ruffling through the trees, and I saw two men walking through the thickets of this forest. And I went up and I asked, "Hi, can I help you?" And I recognized Mr. Reagan right away, but the other person, long story short, they said that we're looking to develop the property. And I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, you better watch out for the giant snakes in there." So this is the article. You can pull it up, Post-Star, October 31st of 2007. Us neighbors fought this complex and this development, and we won. That's there because of most of us today and some that have passed away in the past 19 years. Okay? Issues were the same 19 years ago. All the environmental issues, the traffic, the whole thing. But now, there's more concern on the air pollution rising and the climate heat rising, as in today. This tree habitat is helping to filter the toxins emitted from Ames Goldsmith next door, across the street, roughly 300 feet from my house, and the recently, 12 years ago, purchased Cohen Scrapyard by the big conglomerate NH Kelman out of Cohoes. They've been there since 2013, give or take a little bit. All right? We have their trucks and we have pictures. Some of you know we've been to common council meetings. We've been fighting this neighborhood for 14 years. Okay? Those trees filter everything. And as Audrey said, they are a buffer. I've been in my house 23 years. I bought that house. It was the original owner's house, Joseph Fridella. I live in that. It's over 100 years old. He was an Italian quarryman who came from Italy back in the early 1920s. He built up this entire first ward. You can look it up. Go to the Chapman Museum. But where I'm going with this is he created that buffer. And when I bought my house 23 years ago, I walked, all right, I'm going to finish this, please. I walked to my back fence with the person with the real estate. And I said, "Oh, what are these trees?" And he said, "That's a buffer for East Field to protect the houses from the lights and the noise." I have more to say. Maybe if the others don't mention it, I'll be able to get up after. Thank you.
Good evening. I live at 63 Platt Street. My name is Giselle Howell. I have an almost 2-acre lot. It is adjacent to the trees everyone's talking about, and it also is adjacent to the Lawrence extension. This would affect my family and my property and maybe my property value, I don't know, intensely. It is wetlands back there. We have a lot of wildlife. We have ponds, we have bobcats, we have the New York box turtle. And it's an amazing buffer from the noise of the park. We all think the park is wonderful. Kids need to play ball and very valuable. And really, I can't even imagine, there's 100 trees back there and they're going to be mowed down and paved. I can't even imagine. I bought that lot because I wanted a big lot, big house, and privacy. I have 2 large dogs. I have cats. It's a beautiful place. I look out on the trees. I can barely see Eastfield. And if that were to change, like I said, I have 3 lots. I'd be looking at 3 lots of somebody's backyards. It's huge. Yeah, quality of life, environmental concerns, noise. Yeah, property value. And construction, how long does it take to put in full utilities down the Lawrence Street extension? I live right there on the extension. I can't even imagine it's going to be a nightmare. I'm totally on board with development, but gosh, this is kind of a delicate little area back there. I guess that's all. We're not real happy. I would hate to see it go through. Okay, thank you for your time.
Someone else?
Hello, my name is Marie Roberts. I'm in the 79 Platt Street, right where the Little League fields are. Their property line and my property line meet. And I also are on the board for the Little League and have been there 7 years, I think. My son has been a player in that field, and I would hate to see that area ruined. I mean, it's a place where kids can go and play, and we have traffic, and I'm not exactly sure where that road that they are looking to put in, but if it's that dirt road that goes into the Little League, we have kids that play in that area. We have kids that, families, it's a very family-oriented place. We lease the property from you guys, from the city. And, you know, they go fishing in the ponds. They go, they walk the path. I mean, that is a beautiful area. It's been mentioned before, the wildlife. I just had 2 fawns playing in my yard this morning. There's wildlife that come through there. What's going to happen to that? It does flood. My basement pump is constantly pumping. If it's all blacktopped, then where does that water go? I don't know if this affects my property line. I'm still trying to understand the whole plan. But I would hate for, you know, this wonderful area where you feel like you're kind of in the country, even though you're not in the country, you know, to be ruined because of, you know, development. So anyway, and also the traffic that goes down Platte is insane. I'm scared for my kids are not allowed to play in the front yard just because of the cars that go by, the trucks. I've had my house rattled because they fly down there so fast. You hear their people's trailers rattling, and it scares me. I have kids, and there's a lot of kids down in near Catherine. There's a school down there. So anyway, it just would be heartbreaking to see that. Thank you.
Anyone else?
I'm Tim Keith, and I live right back in Eastfield, and I do not want to build up back there. And I just want to be left alone. And we'll fight for this. We'll be back.
Last time, I guess, 3 minutes.
So you're already up.
Oh, I can't get up either. Oh, Lord. Do you want the map of Eastfield?
Sure. I can see.
I can just explain it to you, if I may, real quick. Yes. This is a map of our whole area. You can get them right down on the table in City Hall. Basically, if you look at it. Oh,
I'll take your map.
well, the reason I'm giving it to you, there's a reason. Okay, so
Yeah, I know. I have to keep things in order here. You spoke. I'll take a look at your map. That's fine. Bring this to the zoning board.
Oh, that's here for a moment.
Okay. I will.
Thank you.
Yes. Anyone else?
Can I ask a question of the application?
Yes.
So, a number of people have mentioned wetlands. I just wanted to ask if you.
Well, when these guys go back up. Okay.
Or I did look at,
Yep.
there's MWI wetlands and informational wetlands.
Okay, yeah, so what are the formal wetland delineation?
You'll see jurisdictional review, but they're not.
Yeah.
My name's Renee Davis. I live on Haskell Avenue. A lot of the environmental issues that they're going to be with that, they're pushing those animals that live there out. We have deer coming across the street, eating, the flowers that we plant and whatnot. We have woodchucks coming, destroying our gardens. So where are they all going to go? They're all going to come back down into our areas where we live. We pay a lot of money for our shrubs, our plants. We like our homes to look nice. So where are they going to go? My backyard.
Anyone else? Okay, guys. Now, to answer that question that you asked.
So a number of people have mentioned wetlands. As a formal wetlands delineation.
Yeah, I made an inquiry to New York State DEC. The original ones that are shown on the Warren County tax maps are informational only aerials. After providing them with additional information, they determined negative on the wetlands. We do know that we have stormwater that comes off the access drive that goes into the park, and it also from the baseball fields themselves. There's no stormwater. It all kind of comes and collects down in that area. It's going to be up to us to take care of that. Those are some of the things that I'd like to work with the city to address as we move through the process with the town road, with the city road, and with the stormwater management. So since we're abutting city property and what we're creating is going to be city property, we want to be able to, we have a little bit of leeway there to work with them to try to manage that stormwater and hopefully try to manage some of the additional stormwater that's around us. I have some ideas, but I would like to have that time to sit down with the city engineer to discuss them and try to create them. On top of that, we're also doing slab on grade homes. So, our disturbance, if we're going to be up, we're going to have more room to swale and move soil around and take care of the stormwater on some of the backs of the lots and try to maintain the buffers as much as possible that Ethan's already shown. Talking with the Cerones and, I'm from the East End, grew up on Prospect Street. This was my paper route as a kid. And I've been to some of the East End Rising meetings and listening to try to come up with unique ways to try to get new single family homes into the city. This has been a subdivision for some time. If you look back, Guy Fridella actually owned the property at some point. I would imagine that he actually subdivided it to get this to go forward. We'll work with the city to take care of the utilities. There's a sanitary sewer manhole that's right out in front of us. Obviously, they were able to get down in there. If we're building these lots up, that's going to allow us to connect into that. And then the water line is just going to be a function of depth, and it should be weathered back to bedrock in there, so we should be able to take care of that. and provide the utilities.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask Abby to provide us, like you, if you haven't already, the package of materials that you submitted to DEC for your jurisdictional information. That's written.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yep.
Yeah, that's one of the comments that we're hearing, so too.
And along with that, I mean, right now, that drainage ditch, that drainage ditch runs down the back of the properties that are on Flat Street, and it winds up in this wet area. As we develop that, we can take care of a lot of that and perhaps alleviate problems that are in the neighborhood now with wet basements. That's part of how the stormwater stuff works, and as we start to develop that and funnel the water and make it go where we want it to go, which is the quarry, that's where it's all trying to get to. It's got a big hole in the ground right there, and that's where the water's trying to go.
Just one more thing to add too. I did have discussions with the surveyors that were out there. I hear some of the safety, some of the comments that the public made. They ran into homeless encampments back there. They ran into little pockets that they could obviously tell the people were living back there. Somebody did scamper away when they did come through. One of the things that this project, as we work through this, could do with sidewalks would give children access to go straight from Platt Street into Eastfield and access to that. Again, interconnecting the parks with the subdivision would be a good thing. That's currently not there, so that would be an avenue to work with the neighborhood on this project to do these things.
While you're involved, do you want to have the planning board consider taking lead agency status and doing a coordinated review of the environmental?
Or do you want to leave that zone?
Coordinated between planning board and zoning board, so we'll do one environmental review and that will be conducted by the planning board.
So their approval would be conditioned on planning board being lead agency?
They won't
I mean,
be
do you
able to
see it right? Are you recommending that as council?
I am recommending that. I think it's a pretty, unique project. I think that there are some environmental concerns that should be considered holistically. And it would mean that at the next zoning board meeting, they would not be able to take action. They would hear the application, consider your recommendation, and then they would have to wait for the planning board to do seeker.
But we wouldn't get to seeker for, when would we do seeker then?
When we get to it.
Well, I don't understand,
When we have a complete application, you conducted a public hearing.
but they might not even get to site plan review until they get their ZBA.
Right.
They've got to have their variances to come back to site plan. If they don't get the variances, they're not doing this project. They're going to rework it and do something else.
They'll come up with a whole different,
Right, so I don't understand how we would ever get a complete packet without the ZBA having granted their variance.
Yes, they wouldn't draw it, they wouldn't make it work.
I mean, legally, that's fine.
So
We'll just do agency. I mean, we have to declare that now at this meeting.
Well, you know, we're not even taking a vote.
Right, we're recommending it to the ZBA, and my understanding is, and correct me if I'm wrong, Claudia, that this board doesn't necessarily have to send a recommendation with a thumbs up or thumbs down. It could be also we have questions.
Sure.
Correct?
Sure.
Right.
We're not asking for a thumbs up or thumbs down.
We're not asking.
It's related to the things that the zoning board would be looking at.
Right. Right. Further discussion will happen with the zoning board, and that may result in changes to what we see here. We're not, each of us, it's not on us right now to say all in or all out, right?
That's very true. I think, Allison, if you want to go through the CBA criteria again as a reminder.
But that's not for us to determine. The ZBA knows what their job is and they know the criteria that they have to go through.
That is the purpose of this.
So so the zoning board of appeals has requested a recommendation from the planning board prior to consideration of the variance request.
So we really.
So
Karen, the recommendation, the recommendation could be we hate it, we love it, or it could be reconsider the number of lots, for example. like it doesn't.
Well, then that's up to them to deny the variance.
Good.
Yes.
They can do that.
So we're making a determination on whether we agree with the lot size. Yeah, and they fit the neighborhood that's there. They're pretty much the same lots as that.
I mean, I guess the one criteria they may get hung up on is whether the benefit sought by the applicant can be achieved by some method feasible to pursue other than an area. No, they'll meet that one too. They'll meet that too. So my understanding was you wanted us to take a look at it and say, hey, do we think 12 lots is okay? Do we think it's okay to give them, 2,000 plus square feet relief and, I don't know, 25 feet in the frontage, which to me, I'm looking at the map and every property around it
Looks the same.
looks the same. So I myself, and I'm not speaking for the board, my opinion is I like the project and it's an infill and that lot's been attempted to be sold, I don't know how many times, Guy Verdella, right? There's been buyers, sellers for years. And someone's finally gonna come in and create a street and create 12 single-family homes, which everyone is talking about in our master plan, that we need more single-family homes. And so it's like, hey, this is a no-brainer. The comprehensive plan, it's like we need more, housing, more affordable housing, single family homes. I think there's the potential to be more affordable. These are not going to be huge homes because the lot won't fit it. So they're going to be affordable housing in today's market. So if you're asking my opinion, I say zoning board, do your job, but I don't have a problem with 12 lots.
Okay. So this is the first one of these that I've really done, sitting in this chair. It seems like we've all had enough information and we've heard, and we have the maps in front of us. How do we make this recommendation?
Like I said, the only thing the only thing I'm concerned with, and again, it's not necessarily the lot size, but it hasn't been to the fire department or DPW superintendent yet. And I believe those, in my opinion, are gonna make a difference when I determine the lot size. Because I may say, they went with the plowing and everything else, they may say drop to 10, which gives the hammerhead an area to have free space. But for me to make that determination now, I can't do, because it hasn't been to the proper key. So I understand what the purpose of this was, to get it here early, so we can look at it. But there are things innate to the project which I have a difficult time making a decision on. The lot size isn't the issue. I understand it's the same as the lot size, but some of those other issues, and I understand the city will deal with it because they're going to be given a piece of property. But our purpose is to make sure the city doesn't have to deal with something. That's the reason we're here. Until we adopt a piece of property, let's make sure everything's proper.
Right.
And that's what I'm looking for. I was looking for more information from those superintendents and the fire department, from a fire standpoint of the trucks. That's what I'm looking for.
So we could make a motion to say that we are in favor, or we agree to go ahead with this, but the zoning board needs to take these into.
Well, they are not gonna take that into consideration because that's a site plan review that's gonna come back to us after they decide, can they have an area variance for the lot size and the frontage? But we will deal with those issues when they come back, if they do, with more.
So even if they give them the variance, now this is why we get, just say we make a positive recommendation. And it goes to the zoning board, it could come back to us, and we can say, no, we as planning board.
Correct.
Won't allow those last two lots or whatever on the end of that, because they need snowplow space or turnaround space.
If we can't make up the stormwater, if we can't get to work it out with the fire department, then we'll have to modify it. Now, there's additional options that we can talk to them about if we do get this. I'd rather not put them out here right now until I have a chance to talk to the city engineer that may alleviate some of those questions. I think the general thought is, 12 lots, you've given us your concerns for the stormwater management. He told us to turn around the utilities. It's on us to work that through. We need to see where the zoning board stands on this with all those items.
And I mean, if you got your area variance, you can always modify it later.
We can always reduce the number of lots and make
It comes
it.
back to us and
Right.
go, you know what, we decided we don't want 12, we want 10. Then you've got your area variance, you don't have to go back because you've been given permission for a smaller lot anyway.
That's right.
So,
We could, so here, as a board, you can say we agree with the lot size change without coming up with a number of lots.
right.
So we say we agree with
We're
the
not opposed to
lot.
the lot size being in the 5,000 range as opposed to the 7,500. And we're not concerned about the frontage being in the 40 feet versus 65, because everyone around them is the same thing. But we're not saying you're gonna get site plan approval because they got a lot more work to do.
We're saying we recommend this goes to the zoning board.
Well, the zoning board has to hear it. If they give the area variance, then the applicant's gonna work with the engineer, the fire department, and it's gonna be back here.
Then we start our in-depth engineering.
There's a lot of hoops.
There's many others.
But we can't get there
Until we say we give a recommend, I recommend, if we make a motion, whatever, if this goes to the zoning. It's.
It does go to the zoning board.
It will go-
They want positive.
Is that, you don't have any?
We, we're right.
Well,
Our
Right.
motion would be that we are not opposed to the smaller lot size, and we're not opposed to the smaller frontage, and they can do their criteria to determine whether or not they want to grant the area variance. But based upon what I've seen, it's in line with the other lots surrounding it.
Right, and that's.
Are we all comfortable with this?
But not the number of,
Make a motion.
just the idea of.
I would make a motion then that the planning board makes a recommendation to the zoning board of appeals that they consider the area variance for the lot size and the lot width, that we, looking at it from a planning board point of view, do not have an issue with the concept. And then it's up to the applicant to make their 4 criteria before the zoning board.
I second that. All in favor?
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You got a lot of hoops.
We know we do, and we appreciate that. As Tom said, he was born and raised in this neighborhood. I've lived in the neighborhood for 38 years.
Mhm.
We're all aware. Member of the Little League Board of Directors for 9 years, 10 years, so I know what's going on over at Eastfield Club. So we're all aware of it, and we're working to make things better.
And relative to seeker, can the zoning board do seeker based on their area variances only? And then subject to planning board doing full seeker review?
Well, we'll probably just do uncoordinated meeting and have them do it.
And have them do their seeker on their portion, and then it's gonna come back, we're gonna lead agency, and we're gonna do what we gotta do.
Yeah.
We'll make it work.
What's that?
It can be.
So, I make a motion to adjourn. Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.